What time frame is the best for active trading?
I don't know.
In this video, we're going to be answering that question, and I'm going to be going through all the different major time frames that traders often use. Everything from the weekly chart all the way down to the 1 minute chart. I'll give you guys the pros and cons of each time frame so that you can make a better decision. Let's jump in. Welcome back to my channel, guys. If you do enjoy my content, do me a quick favor and make sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump into, of course, this topic today, which is picking the right time frame for your trading. This, believe it or not, is a very important decision that a trader has to make because each time frame has their own sets of pros and cons. I want to start out with one of the extremes. We're going to look at the 1 minute chart. Now, the 1 minute chart has some very strong pros and cons that should kick us off pretty well on this video. One thing that is very cool about the 1 minute chart, it is the most fast moving chart, obviously. It's making quick moves. Every single minute, of course, represents a new bar or a new candlestick pattern or a new candlestick, which can be used to place very quick trades. For example, if we actually just take a look at this move here to here, this move is a lot of candles, but in reality, the whole move is only about an hour long of candles. So in essence, if you're trading the 1 minute chart and you're able to catch like this move, in just 1 hour, you can catch these ginormous moves. Now, of course, that is an obvious pro, and we'll get into some cons here, but I do want to start out by saying the 1 minute chart is a day trader favorite. If you're somebody who is looking to trade very actively and doesn't mind spending some time staring directly at your chart for a while, this is probably the chart for you. 1 minute chart traders, you either love them or you hate them, but there's really no in between when it comes to the 1 minute chart because these moves are aggressive and they do require a lot of your attention. Now, let's talk about some of the cons of the 1 minute chart. Take a look at this chart. I don't know about you, but most traders try and employ some sort of trend following or concept that can rely on big market moves in a single direction, whether it be up or down. Usually most of us are just buying gold or selling gold or whatever you're trading, right? You're making a bet on the direction. But when the market does this and it just goes choppy, this is where we run into the first major con of the 1 minute chart. The 1 minute chart is infamous for having choppy, noisy moves, meaning not a lot of actual stuff is happening here, but the market is just chopping around and probably causing a lot of pain to a lot of the scalpers or very short-term day traders that are trading these sorts of moves. Now again, there are explosive moves that a 1 minute chart trader can be utilizing, but think about this for a second. If you're trading the 1 minute chart and it goes sideways on you for like this amount of time, let's again get our measuring out and we can see that in this time, for 3 hours, the chart did almost nothing. It just went back and forth, back and forth. And you may say, well, Nick, you might be able to trade these moves back and forth in the meantime. That is true, but we're going to get into the second major con of the 1 minute chart. Trading the 1 minute chart, meaning taking lots of trades, is incredibly costly. The 1 minute chart is the most inefficient in terms of trading costs with your broker. What I mean by that is, you know how whenever you take a trade, you pay a commission, meaning let's say you want to buy this market. And at this price in yellow, you decide to buy the market. So you click market buy, or you set a limit buy, and now you're into this trade. Well, guess where you actually get filled if you buy a market? Well, there's a certain thing in the market called a spread. So the brokerage that you're trading on, they have to make money too for providing you the ability to buy in and sell out of, gold so quickly. That is a luxury that we live in this day. And trust me, 25 years ago, traders from that time would say that is an incredible fill, whereas it used to be very, very costly commissions wise to even place trades on the market at all. You used to even have to call up your broker and say, hey, I'd like to buy gold or whatever. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to get at is even nowadays, this is still very costly because what happens is you enter the market, you claim you want to buy the market here. Well, the broker adds a spread onto your trade of usually a couple pips if you're on Forex. And if you are trading stock shares or that sort of thing, you might get a couple pennies or a couple dollars, depending on, of course, the stock and the size of the dollar denomination of what you're trading. The point is, the broker always adds some level that this is how they make money. And if you are doing this often, if you're taking those little spreads all over the place in and out of the trade, right? You pay, that spread exists on the entrance and exit of the trade. It starts to really rack up and you end up spending a lot of money on the broker. Now, I've given you guys some pros and cons. Again, you can catch explosive moves on the 1 minute chart, but it also has a lot of noise and it can be incredibly costly. Let's talk about perhaps the 5 and 15 minute. Now, I say the 5 minute chart is really it's a very similar chart to the 1 minute chart. But now we jump up to the 15 minute chart. The 15 minute chart is probably the day trader's favorite. 1 minute chart, probably more focused for the scalpers. The 15 minute chart is a favorite, I would say, for the day traders. Day traders absolutely love the 15 minute chart because it takes away some of the noise from the 1 minute chart. You're not trading, tiny movements in the market. You are trading, perhaps the big moves of the day kind of thing. For example, we can see that this movement right here is a overnight sell-off that occurred in gold. I say overnight, it just depends where you're from. This is, of course, Wednesday for me. This is the Thursday, Wednesday midnight point. And as we entered into the London session, a serious move occurred in this market and it continued into the New York session. So this is a really big move. Now, of course, when it comes to day traders taking advantage of this, this is what day traders absolutely love. So the 15-minute chart can be excellent for day trading opportunities, but you still have a little bit of that high frequency trading, which does end up being pretty costly, especially if you're going to be day trading for years and years and years. Your costs are going to go up. So if you're trading the 15-minute chart, you better be pretty good to overcome all those broker expenses on top of just the hardships of trading, period. But again, the major pros of the 15-minute chart is it does allow you to keep an eye on the charts and trade for a little bit, trade for a session. So for example, if you were trading, let's say, I'm just gonna make it US related. Let's say I'm trading from like 8:30 or so until 12 p.m., right? So that would be this window here, basically this frame here. I could have perhaps caught my trades and be done for the day by about noon. Wouldn't that be nice if every day you could just do that and money was made, right? That's the dream. Is it the reality? Not so much for everybody. It's easier said than done, but great day traders can take advantage of moves like this and move on with their day. And one of the greatest things, they can avoid sort of the chop or the sideways market just by waiting for major sessions. Here's another London session right here. And then it goes into, of course, the New York session and things start to pick up. So I will say, if you're trading the 15-minute chart, you probably already know this, but it's very important to probably spend most of your time trading during major market sessions, as major market sessions are actually going to cause you to actually be able to trade when liquidity is good, there's a lot of flow in the market, and moves are much bigger. Now let's move on to the 1 hour chart. The 1 hour chart is probably one of my personal favorite charts to trade because now we introduce something that is actually attainable to swing traders and day traders alike. So the day traders might use this as kind of a higher time frame to some degree, right? Day traders and scalpers are going to probably be using things like the 1 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour, that sort of thing. And swing traders are going to be kind of more in the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So this is the crossover point, I would say, between day traders and swing traders. And I will say this is one of my favorite time frames to trade personally. With the 1 hour chart, you get more clean moves and you also get to kind of capture some of the intraday volatility that is occurring in the markets. So for example, in this 3 hour window, you had a really big move on gold, which if you were trading that, caught that intraday, or even on a swing trading basis, you can kind of see where we're going with this, right? The 1 hour chart is, I would say, slightly leaning more towards the favor of the swing traders if you're going to be executing on this chart. Now, if you're doing your analysis on this chart as a day trader, for example, let's say that you mark out your highs and lows kind of thing. Let's say, you mark out where potential breakouts could occur, and then you're dropping down to like a 15-minute chart to try and trade that breakout, right? That, I would say, is not necessarily executing on the 1 hour chart, but using it in your analysis. What I'm talking about here in this video is mostly execution. So in the 1 hour chart here, for executing, I would say this is more akin to swing trading. Now, the next one is, of course, one of my absolute favorites between 4 hour and 1 hour. I'm very much, my hands are tied. I'm pretty much, I like both of them just as much. The 4 hour chart is excellent for swing traders. Not so much for day traders. Day traders can still mark out zones with the 4 hour chart, but now we're getting more into the territory of where longer term swing traders may execute off the 4 hour chart. I do a little bit of execution on the 4 hour chart. Like, for example, I love the 4 hour chart because I get these very clean moves. Remember, our 1 minute chart being very choppy, very costly to trade. Well, the 4 hour chart is much more efficient to trade, although it does have a big con as well. The con of the 4 hour chart, the negative of the 4 hour chart, is now you introduce holding on to trades for several days, right? Which some traders really don't like. Some traders like to get in and get out. I personally don't mind holding trades for several days, and I mentioned earlier on that swing trading is preferable for people who have very busy schedules, or perhaps you don't have a busy schedule, but you don't want to sit and stare at the chart all day. Me personally, I'll give you my take or my position. I run a software company and this YouTube channel. It keeps me very busy outside of just what I want to do with trading. But on top of that, I also don't enjoy sitting and staring at price charts for several hours a day. I like to spend about an hour a day trading, and that is about all I want to do. I've spent years doing this stuff. I do love it, but I only really can stand sitting there and staring at it for about an hour, and that's all I've gotten me per day. And I've been doing this for years. I've become profitable on the way, and I don't need to spend any more time than that to catch pretty great moves. For example, I don't know that this is going to happen, of course, but let's say that price makes a good move here and I'm long on gold. If I'm holding a gold trade and the market does end up rallying here for, let's say, a full week, I could sit here and capture a massive move on one simple execution. So what I love about the higher time frames, getting into the 4 hour chart, is I can place a trade. If this market runs, and I personally like to trail stops, and I'm able to, trail higher lows, for example, I could stay in a trade for a week, and off of my one decision to trade this pair or this currency or this indice or whatever I'm trading, one decision was able to capture a really nice move without having to spend hours and hours and hours. Personally, that is way better. Now we get into what I would say is pretty much exclusively a swing trader's chart, which is the daily chart. Now, some big pros and cons here. Very big pro about the daily chart, I would say this, besides the weekly chart, obviously, this chart has some of the cleanest price action moves in the markets. The signals generated, I would say, on the daily chart are of the highest quality of everything that we showed. The 1 minute chart, I would say, very hard to get very particular because of all the noise and because of all the knee-jerk reactions to news articles coming out and the algo trading. I would say this is going to give you the dirtiest, if you will, signals. The daily chart has beautiful, clear price action signals. This is kind of an opinionated video. I know somebody's going to disagree with my statement, and in today's world, I hope I don't offend you or anything like that. But this is just my take. This is my opinion. So if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll probably disagree back with you. But hey, that's okay. This is the internet, and that's what we do here. Anyways, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, beautiful, clear candlestick patterns, clear movements in this market. Right now I could tell you we were in this downward trend on the daily chart. A nice breakout has occurred, and now we seem to be flowing to the upside. You can apply usually even the simplest indicators and moving averages and that sort of thing to get this idea off the daily chart, right? So we've kind of broken this downward structure. It does seem like we're starting to trend up, right? Clear uptrend, started a downtrend but didn't quite follow through. Beautiful uptrend, beautiful downtrend, right? Beautiful downtrend, beautiful uptrend. You get my point. The movements are oftentimes very nice off of the daily chart, and I personally really love using it as a confluence factor to my trading. Now for me as a swing trader, I like to use the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily chart. Those are what I use mostly. Now, I'm not executing off of the daily chart. I'm usually using it just as a component to my analysis. But if I am using this, I'm using this to help me guide direction, find higher time frame zones of resistance or support, and that sort of thing. So it can be very useful. The final one is, of course, the weekly chart. This one has longer term, beautiful signals. For example, gold retesting a all-time high has been for 3 times an excellent opportunity to look for sells. If you sold these 3 areas each time, you made quite a bit of move to the downside that you could have capitalized on. Of course, that's hindsight speaking, and it doesn't always work perfectly like that, but oftentimes the weekly chart can be excellent for finding trends, but also longer term areas of potential reversals. For example, back in this period, which happened to be around the 1700 mark, gold, if you remember, some of you guys have been probably watching me since I talked about this so much, but back in this whole period of time, we addressed and discussed this area of support several times. The 1695 to 1720 zone, we talked about this over and over on live streams back in the day as a huge bullish barrier, and we did hold this level several times, which again, for day traders, swing traders alike, the weekly chart can still be very useful to just keep an eye on overall. Though it is even too slow moving for me personally, I think the weekly chart starts to get into more longer term trading and even investing side of things. So that's where I'm at with all the different time frames. Let me know what you guys' favorite time frame. If you made it to the very end of the video, comment which time frame you like the best and why down below in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day. If you're looking to improve as a trader, we've got some cool free resources here that I wanted to share as we close today's video. Down below in the description, there is a link to join our Discord channel or our Telegram channel. And we also have our website, a1trading.com, where traders can get access to free course material to help you improve as a trader. Remember, we are also live Monday through Friday on this channel around 9:30 a.m. US Eastern, broadcasting most live news events and that sort of thing. So hope to see you there. And also, we do have a couple videos here showing up on the screen. If either of these seems like it might be helpful to you, then make sure to click here or here, and we'll see you there.